you doing here, you weird perv? Why are you a perv on the block? You know about you, good Jesus, you perv.
The guy with the little cat suit on calls me a perv.
On the footpath.
Yeah, the cops aren't going to have much chance, I don't think. As far as I can see, there's 4 of them. Hey, can you go away from me? Don't harass me.
You little creep. You little creep. You come home. Just leave us alone.
What are you doing?
You're a creep.
Will you leave?
What do you want to do?
Do not touch me again.
Get a life. I didn't touch you.
You just did.
Get a life.
Go away from me, please.
Is your life not interesting enough? You have to be a creep.
Can you please go away from me?
Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Don't do that to him.
I know.
He's just doing his job. Don't
He's
do
not
that.
having fun at all.
Thank you so much.
Changing, you're really peaceful. That's what you're doing.
Unfortunately, all the group is fine, but 2 people. So thanks. I appreciate you stepping in. Good on you. Good on you. A couple more police have just arrived, and there's a police car trying to get through, but yeah, everyone that was stuck in the traffic jam's turning off now to go in a different way. And here comes a police van. I'd say they've come up from Day Street and they weren't able to get here because it's so I think that's the end of it actually. They're going to walk, unless they stop in the middle of the intersection here, which is they probably will do by the look of it. Then otherwise they're walking into Hyde Park. No one's going to get off until they're ready. He calls me a perv with what he's wearing. These 2 are doing a slow walk to keep the police at bay, I assume. Doesn't look like anyone's going to leave the intersection very soon. Another police bike arriving now, and another police car from a different direction. So I'd say the cops, what's that, we're 12 minutes in now. Not sure what they're going to do. Just going to chat to the boss. Can't hear what they're saying, but they're getting these ladies back out to the street again, I think. Yeah, they've had enough. She's not impressed with them. Oh, here comes another big contingent of cops now. So I think the protesters are, they're getting intimidated by this new arrival of groups. So the organisers, I think, are getting them to start moving. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, these guys look like it's serious now. So I think this will be. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh no, they're just blocking the road. Oh, they're going to do maybe a march to get them to move everyone. It looks like it.
You know the cops not profit.
Too many coppers! Too many coppers! Too many coppers!
I think that was it. They were just waiting on the numbers to do that little march. It was minimal, if any, resistance. Pretty much none. None I saw. So yeah.
The panel, and it's discussing acting on the climate.
Stop hitting our friends! Stop hitting our friends!
Let him do their job.
Touch anyone! I didn't even touch anyone! Release me! What is this for?
Yeah, you're fine. It's got zoom capabilities. Just stand back where you are.
You should take the road and get him there and arrest them! Let us go! You get them!
Release me now!
Let them go! 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 You bullying bastards! In front, everybody! Stop hurting them! Stop hurting them! Go away, you cooker!
They want to stand a little bit longer with their signs, and then they're going to and then this guy with his cat mask on is just constantly, he ruins it for the whole movement, him and this other girl, because they ruin it for everyone else because of the carry on that they go on with. It could be just a normal protest getting filmed, but he has to keep his mouth open and running it the whole time. Yeah, he's just whatever he is, I don't know, but it's the way he is. And the other little girl that just goes crazy, and she just calls me a cooker, and then she bloody touches me and touches my phone. But anyway, that's all that aside.
I just wanted to say that was incredible seeing them for the first time. I come from New Zealand, and
They make for a very good video, these ladies, anyway. Yeah, hey, it's the 16th of November 2024, and I've come back now. I've been back and then out again, but I've come back from this End Climate Destruction Cop Out. So COP is the Conference of Parties, the UN Conference of Parties in regards to the environment, and I don't know what I'll read what it says here on their website. COP29 is a climate cop out. 3 decades of negotiations in the UN Conference of Parties, COP, is yet to produce any binding actions to address the unfolding ecological collapse. This is not for a lack of paths forward, but a fundamental unwillingness to intervene in the industries and their profits that are driving climate collapse. From the 11th to the 22nd of November, COP29 will be held in Azerbaijan, and where the fossil fuels make up 90% of the nation's exports. Anyway, so you get the gist of it. So they had a bike ride through the city, a slow, disruptive, in their words, bike ride through the city yesterday, which I went along to, and I put on my Sydney protest. And then today they had their protest today called End Climate Destruction, 11 a.m. town hall, which I went to, and I filmed the speeches. And there was only then the issues arrived. So yesterday I had issues, which you can see on the city protest thing, but it's only two people. There's this guy who wears a cat mask. He wears a full cat mask with cat ears, and then this young lady who wears another really grubby mask, and they're the only two that have an issue and cause a problem. And I would love to say to the organisers, I could just come along, I can film it. I can put a couple of people asked me, who are you filming for? I said, look, I'm filming for my Sydney protest channel. I film whatever protests I can get to in Sydney. I put it up on my Sydney protest channel, and that's it. I was like, yeah, no worries, it's fine. Because they're wondering, because nobody's there. There's no media. There's nobody. There's just me, and then there's them. And so, but yeah, yesterday the guy, he's just the cat ears, the cat mask. It's the weirdest thing you've ever seen. This full cat mask with cat ears, and then he wears black glasses, and then he has a little GoPro attached to his chest, so he's filming everything as well. And at the bike ride yesterday, he kept going to me, oh, you're a Jesus snitch. And I go, what are you talking about? Am I snitching to Jesus, or am I snitching on Jesus? Well, what are you saying? And, you know, after a while, I just ignored him in the beginning, but he kept going, and he kept going. And then he goes, yeah, you're Jesus snitch, blah, blah, blah. We know you. We know who you are, blah, blah. And then it's, the next thing was, oh, you're a transphobe snitch. And then I went, now I know who this dude is. He's the guy that he and his two mates, they just kind of went on the attack, pushing and shoving me and holding up umbrellas at one of these other protests where I was just filming, doing the same thing. He's had it in for me since I just filmed at one of the earlier protests at Manly Library, nearly 2 years ago now, and he just went on the attack and kept coming past me and bumping into me. And it's like, there's other journalists there, but he just particularly he didn't know who the hell I was then, but then since he knows since, I think, because he must know Sydney protests, but you know, he's just got an attitude, and he's just got an attitude. And I've never seen his face, because his face hasn't seen the light of day for several years, I wouldn't think. But anyway, so he was there, and then the girl, she came up to me on the bike ride, and she's telling me to, you're not wanted here. We don't want you here, and she's blocking me, and you know, she's breathing in my face, and it's just like, whew. I couldn't. I wanted to just dry reach. The halitosis was just the worst I've known for a long time. It was just, I had to turn my head to get away from it. And she's just going off, and she's a tiny little thing, but she's just full of bravado. And then she calls me a right-wing cooker. You're a right-wing cooker, blah blah, and on and on. Lots of other stuff. She went on and on. I didn't film that, unfortunately. I should have, because she came over to me just as I stopped filming and hopped down from my vantage point. Then she came over. And she's blocking me on the footpath. The cops don't do anything. They're just trying to get this procession through the city. So that was the bike ride. And the number of commuters that were put out at a peak hour, 9 a.m. or 8:30 to 9 a.m. slow bike ride through the city. Anyway, that's their business. The cops allowed it. It was allocated, for them, and they all behaved. But then today, when they had it, they decided once the speeches were over on town hall, the guy running it, he's going, okay, we're going to do a walk up to Hyde Park, and then we'll reconvene there, and we'll have a bit of a chat, just see how things are. And said, stay together, and blah blah blah. And I thought, oh, here we go. This will be on. There's no way they're just going to walk on the footpath. And sure enough, they walk over from the town hall tram station to Bathurst Street, and straight on the footpath. And the cop there's one cop, the main cop. He's going, no, you can't. But they just walk around him. There's one guy, and there's another 3 cops sort of nearby trying to do something, but they can't do a thing. There's 60 of them, and there's 4 cops. So they start walking up the street, and I'm just filming it. I'm walking around. I'm on the middle of the road, and the cars are just like creeping up behind them on the road. They can't go anywhere. And in Europe, in other things you'll see online, they'll be beeping them, and they'll be trying to push through and do this. But the Sydney siders just sit there and just cop it. And then when there's a side street, they'll turn off. But as we walked along, I got to the corner of I guess it's Castlereagh and Bathurst. And then I'm just filming, and the next thing I know, they get a whack, and I'm, what the fuck? And the little girl, the halitosis girl, has come up. She's trying to whack my phone out of my hand, and then she's bumped into me, And what am I supposed to do? She's like a tiny, tiny thing. And I'm not violent. And, she might be violent, but I'm going to be violent. And the other guy, the previous times, he wasn't violent this time, but he was violent the previous times with his pushing and his shoving. And anyway, so, and he's there. And then all of us, and then she's telling me, you're not welcome here. Go, blah, 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 whatever. She's saying all sorts of stuff. It's on the video. I filmed it this time, thankfully. And then all of a sudden, a homeless lady comes up to defend me, to stand up for me. And she says he's just doing his job. What, you're supposed to be climate protesters. What are you doing? Well, and she told her off. And the minute they get told off, they just scurry off. They scurry away the minute they get confronted. If it's me, they don't care. It's like that. It's they're up for that. Let me fucking get these blinds. Sorry, that was a bit sorry about that. That's how my videos roll. You got to wear it. Fuck, I was getting blinded by the light. What was I up to? Yeah, so that happened, and then the next thing was it kept going up the street, and then the cops, the main cops on the CB going, send back up. We've got a 941 in progress and blah blah blah, whatever. I don't know. He's making that up, but and then the next thing the couple more cops turn up, and then we get to the corner of Bathurst and Elizabeth Street, just opposite the park, near the big what do you call it? The Egyptian pylon thing. I should know the name. I don't know it, but everyone will probably know what I'm talking about. It's a big sphinx, not a sphinx. It's a big tall, skinny pylon at Hyde Park, and then it's just they stop in the middle of the road. And it's just they're all kind of going in a bit of a circle in the middle of the road. They've got their signs up, their big long signs facing it each way. And then what happens then? So then a couple more cops turn up, and then all of a sudden, this is going on for a fair while. And I looked at my camera and said, it's been 12 minutes now. So in 12 minutes, there's no cops. But they're trying to come up from Day Street Police Station, up Bathurst Street, which is now banked up probably for miles with cars because no one can go anywhere. So they can't really get there. So other ones come down, screaming down Elizabeth Street, and then a big van pulls up full of cops. So the cops all pile out, and then they go across Bathurst Street, and then they just start doing the line push. So that's because I kept on saying, what are they waiting on? Well, what's going on? But anyway, they do the line push to push everyone off the road. And the next thing, I'm just filming, walking around, getting abused by that cat, the cat man. The woman has eased off a little by then, and then. I don't know, she's busy doing other things. She's one of the organisers, so she's trying to get it all organised at the same time as confronting me and for being a cooker. And the next thing, what happens? Yeah, I hear a scuffle, and I'm filming at the other end where there's these ladies that wear this full-on red robe and this white makeup, and they're quite photogenic to film. So I walk around them. I do a lot of filming. They don't care. They're happy to be filmed. And then I hear this scuffle, and something's going on, and people screaming. And I go over there, and there's one of the main organisers again who'd spoke the day before on the ground, and the cops are trying to cuff this person. I don't know I don't know what the person is or who, because it's difficult now because there's some people saying let her go, and other people are saying let them go, even though it's only one person. So it's like the pronouns are difficult. And then the day before, when the person talked to me, I just thought it was a man, and I said, yep, no problem, my man, and I walked off, assuming it's a man. I didn't know any different then, but now it's let them go and let her go, and there's no let him go. So I guess it's either a them or a her. So I don't know, but anyway, so I filmed that all. So and then I'll say they. I'll just say, look, this person got taken and put in there and dragged. There's a couple. They're cuffing them. They're cuffing the person, and then they lift the person and take the person to the paddy wagon. And one cop's carrying both the back legs, and the other two cops are carrying the front arms. So it's like doing this kind of Superman thing across, and then the paddy wagon, and in they go, in the person goes, and then I just try and film through the hole. And as I'm filming, the little halitosis girl sees me again, and she goes something or other, you get lost, you cooker. Again, it's like this cooker thing. And I always think to myself, I think it's probably, I'm not sure what they always mean by cooker, but I'm sure it's due to the vaccine. And it's always, I always think to myself, if maybe she's had her 6 vaccines, maybe she's up to date on her doses and had her government authorized 6 vaccines that she should have, but maybe she stopped at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, which makes her unvaccinated and in reality an anti-vaxxer and a cooker. So she's it's the pot calling the kettle black about cookers, unless she's had her 6 shots. I mean, maybe she has. It's why, maybe that's why she's so erratic. Anyway, so that was the day, and then the person got driven off by the cops, and then it was sort of all calmed down after that, and they just went and had a chat, and then I said, oh, I'm out of here. But yeah, I want to tell the group that runs it, it's like, these 2 people make you look bad. I could come along and film, put it on my little Sydney Protest Telegram channel that nobody watches, and it would be like, you know, I do it to record history in Australia. And I always like to come back to the misinformation and disinformation bill, and it goes back to the Palestinian rally at the Sydney Opera House, where the Australian Jewish Association had someone filming, and they subtitle under the footage, "Gas the Jews," where I'm filming my own footage of the guys directly in front of me, you know, 14 young Aussie blokes chanting, "Where's the Jews?" just after they chant, "Albo's a wanker." But the Australian Jewish Association, the AJA, put up their Twitter page, and they were so proud the other day at the misinformation disinformation bill hearings to say, "Oh, we've had so many views of our Twitter account." You know, they were so pleased about it. But the problem was, everyone picked up on it. Like you know, the ABC, PK on the ABC said it. Not all, but so many liberal senators said it. One Labor senator, Liberal Nationals, Sky News ran with it. All the other news ran with it. In America, the CBC or NBC said 1,000 pro-Hamas supporters are at the steps of the Sydney Opera House chanting, "Gas the Jews," and that's where it disseminated out around the world. And it's like, if this sounds like full of myself, and I don't really give a fuck, but if I wasn't there filming it, it would have gone forward as the truth that Australians are this bunch of anti-Semitic, you know, Jew-hating people that are out yelling, "Gas the Jews." And that's why, because the Australian Jewish Association, deliberately or not, subtitled it, everyone, no, not everyone, but the more gullible heard that. Whereas if you just listen with your ears, close your eyes, it's, "Oh, where's the Jews?" But if you're looking at the thing, it's, "Oh, gas the Jews." Yeah, even though I'm hearing "Where's the Jews," my eyes are saying it's something else. And it's the only reason they ran with that. You know, they didn't go with, you know, "Fuck the Jews," "Fuck Israel," the burning of the flag, the throwing of flares, all these things that happened. They went with this one thing because it is the most anti-Semitic thing. It is the worst thing. Gas the Jews. Gas an entire people is the portrayal. And the Australian Jewish Association to this day still keep it on their Twitter account, even though it's been discredited last December by the Australian Police from someone's audio and from the video. Anyway, so that's why I film the protests. It's just, I don't get paid for it. There's nothing in it for me other than, you know, getting abused by these people, which isn't that beneficial. But I just do it as a and I put it on Telegram. So there, it's a historic record, and you can go back through time and see, oh, these are the protests that happened, and the Palestinians are just as bad. I'm not standing up for the Palestinians by writing my 100 letters to these liberal politicians mainly that said it in Parliament to say, you know, why don't you retract that? You know, you've gone down in the public record of Hansard saying that "Gas the Jews" was chanted on the Opera House when it's a lie. You know it's a lie. You've been told by the police it's a lie. I've been telling you it's a lie since the day you said it in Parliament. Why don't you take it back? Of course they just ignore it. No, I added it into my submission to the misinformation disinformation bill. And if the misinformation and disinformation bill got through, what politicians say, what the mainstream media say, and what the universities say is information. What you and I say, if it varies from that line, that's misinformation. So this is the information the government says, the media says, and the universities say, that's in this area. Anything else that doesn't agree with that is disinformation and misinformation. And that's the bill they want. And of course it's going out across the world. Australians just a little bit, inward looking and think it's just happening here, but it's happening across the world. I'm not going to sound too crazy and be called a cooker again by that little girl, the halitosis girl, but maybe I am. Maybe I am. So that's it. Yeah, that's enough of that's 15 minutes worth of bullshit. So anyway, look today last thing I really wanted to say is to the organisers of the protest today. Those two people are a detriment to your organisation. You believe in climate boiling and you believe in all these things. and you want to have your you want to even just having your pretty much illegal march through the streets today, and there'll be no repercussions, of course, for it. You know, the cops aren't going to do anything about it other than one person that got arrested or taken away. I don't know the story behind it now, but the cat mask man, he just brings your whole group down. I could have just had 2 days of footage of just everything that happened, and no interaction between me and anyone, and that would have been fine. Nobody else would have interacted with me except because of him and her, and they are a detriment to your organisation, the climate cop out, and they should be whoosh. Otherwise it's just like it brings you people down, it brings them down, you know, your group down, it brings all the other climate groups down. You know, the credibility is so minimal now after what's been going on and the US elections and everything else. The credibility of all this rubbish has just fallen through the floor now, and you know, anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, this is the third instalment of the COP protests this weekend now. Not these cops, the COP summit going on. There was one yesterday afternoon which I didn't go to, but someone sent me a photo of it. There was very few people there.
The rest of the day today and tomorrow, there's a music evening, some grassroots sharing discussions tonight. There's a panel on acting on the climate crisis tomorrow with some really great speakers as well. So definitely make sure to come check it out. Yeah, it's a beautiful space, and it's a way to build culture and community as well as taking action. So it's a really important part of this path to get to where we want to be. But yeah, I will get onto our first speaker. So yeah, please welcome Larissa Payne. She's an organiser with XR and the Greens. Larissa's taken direct action for COP a few years ago, standing on blocking an entrance to the Opera House with Extinction Rebellion. So yeah, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, Edward. So here we are, dear ones. We're in the pit of the Anthropocene. It's an existential juncture unlike any time in human history. Chomsky calls it a moment of confluence of crises, of extraordinary severity, with the fate of the human experiment at risk. Humanity and its life support systems are on the precipice to 6 mass extinction because of the insatiable thirst of the 1% who prioritise corporate greed over human need, largely manifest in the pursuit of fossil fuels. Shame. We know this, and we know that they've known it for decades. We know that fossil extractivism destroys land and water, community and culture. We know that the multi-headed hydra of capitalism and colonialism, imperialism and materialism is a beast that keeps drilling the oil, fracking the gas, digging the coal and tormenting us with nuclear. It's a vicious beast preventing the 99% from ushering in a world of beauty and life, of collective care and the greater good, of peace with justice, of collective liberation. We know that to rectify this means resisting the capitalist death cult that overuses Earth's precious resources and still fails to meet basic needs. We know that the threat is global, dancing indifferently across borders, and that this requires an organised global response. We know. We also know that the conferences of the parties have been so thoroughly captured by fossil interests that they are now hosted in literal petrostates, and that this is as good a reason as any to call out what it is, a cop-out. I've got to mind my language because there's some little ones here, so apologies if one slips out. COP29 is an exercise in elite narcissism. It's a gala for fossil fuel lobbyists and nuclear spooks, neoliberal politicians and the 1%. Assata Shakur teaches us that nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of those who are oppressing them. In this colony, we're used to living in a petrostate. Azerbaijan is a petrodictatorship. Dictator President Aliyev claims that fossil fuels are a gift from God. Yet this country country is defined by his repression of its people. Aliyev's dictatorship targets journalists and activists and is guilty of ethnic cleansing, humanitarian blockades and war crimes. Is it any wonder that Azerbaijan works hand in glove with the apartheid fascist state of Israel? And they want to call the COP of peace? Shame. Azerbaijan is responsible for being the primary supplier of oil to Israel, majority owned by BP, and fueling the genocide in Gaza, the West Bank, and the mass slaughter of Lebanese. BP is developing a carbon bomb 160 kilometres from COP. The Shafag Eisman project is drilling for gas and will dump 1 billion tonnes of carbon into the atmosphere while COP elites wine and dine down the street. So we know that change isn't going to happen at COP. We've accepted that. It's got to come from elsewhere. And that's why we're here today. This is a call of love, a call to escalate more strategically, more collaboratively in every arena. It's all hands on deck. So if the climate crisis is an international planetary phenomenon and the flaccid joke that is COP is simply a space for international capitalists to cosplay as climate activists, then our response needs to be an internationalist one. If our organising and resistance isn't internationalist, if it's not anti-capitalist in purpose, we're missing the point. If our organising and resistance isn't decolonial and grounded in solidarity, not charity, we won't win. Conservation and green capitalism aren't going to save the planet. It's just not going to cut it. Saving the planet requires authentic solidarity and cooperation. Cooperation is easier when individuals repeatedly interact, building collectives, building collective power, which beautifully boosts potential for cooperation in the future. And that's what I see what's happening this weekend. It's beautiful, and to everyone that's organised it, well done. It's really beautiful. Yeah. Some say rallies like this one here are futile, and I disagree. While obviously we won't be seeing any tangible political outcomes from this protest, its value lies in the creation of space for cooperation and for potential future cooperation. That's where we take organising, mobilising and resistance to the next level, and the next level, and the one after that. Whether that's the formation or extension of groups where we share ideas and prioritise collective care, one where we create radical art or get to know our neighbours, one where we organise within our workplace to collectively challenge middle management and bosses, and where we build solidarity with workers who share common goals right around the world. To achieve collective liberation, we need to at least try to build the new world in the shell of the old. I was introduced to this concept by the late David Graeber when we organised Occupy Sydney, not far from here. Occupy Wall Street was an exercise in prefiguration, organising in spite of the system, around the system, and an attempt to build the world that we wanted to see. And that's what mutual aid is. That's what local networks of support were during the Black Summer fires and the Lismore floods. It's responding to the call of First Nations people, whether on this continent or abroad, and making solidarity an existential, heartfelt choice. So when this rally ends, when the cop-out concludes, when the next election rolls around and we're presented with the illusion of choice between one captured major party or another, what are we going to do differently? Chomsky and the Progressive International have dubbed the architects of this multi-pronged crisis the reactionary international. Without community resistance, there is no liberation. Without community resistance, our life support systems will disappear. Without internationalist cooperation in community, we have no means of defeating the reactionary international parading around Azerbaijan right now. So instead of languishing in a cost of living crisis, mass deprivation and climate and ecological breakdown, relying only on voting, single project campaigns or isolated acts of defiance, let's escalate prefiguratively, in community, in solidarity, in spite of borders. We can cry if we need, but let's water the damn seeds. Thanks.
That are fighting this right now. And they want to bring COP to Australia. They want to bring this conference of parties to Australia in 2 years. And they're going to come here and pretend and make up stuff and act like they are taking action, that they are looking after the neighbouring islands, that they are being serious about this, but they're not even doing a good job. They're pretending to do a good job. And welcome, rebels. Our next speaker is Dr. Justin Bowra. He is a health expert and would like to talk on the climate crisis. So yeah, please welcome Justin.
Thank you very much, Wes. So yes, I'm Dr. Justin Bowra. I'm a hospital doctor based in Sydney, and I'm here to talk to you today as a health expert about the health impacts of the climate crisis. Now, we've known in the medical world and the scientific world for the last 15 years that the climate emergency is the biggest health threat that humanity has ever or will ever face. It's going to kill, and it is killing already, millions every year around the world. And it's not just what you might think about heat. It's not heat stroke, although that happens. I'm an emergency doctor and we're seeing that more and more. It's rapidly worsening your cardiovascular deaths from heat. It's starvation as crops fail. It's thirst as water dries up and glaciers disappear. It's depression and youth suicide as people flee their homes. Did you know that in Australia alone, since records first started on this in 2008, we now have more than 300,000 internally displaced climate refugees in this country who can't go back to their houses or their communities because they're gone now from natural disasters. It's from smoke, it's from air pollution due to the fossil fuel industry. The smoke from fossil fuels kills more people every year than smoking, than cigarette smoke, and that's all from fossil fuels. Shame, shame, shame. Predictions are that if we get to 2 degrees global warming, in the next century, conservative estimates say 1 billion people will die as a result. And that's a conservative estimate, and the UN now says we're on track to more than 2.5, unless there is drastic action. 1 billion people. Now, we know it's fossil fuels. We know that COP has turned from a charming, useless talk fest into an active enabling of petrostates as they cut deals on the sidelines with breathtaking arrogance. But you know what? I think they've done us all a favour, because by letting that mask slip and showing their true faces, they're allowing people like us to say to our friends and our family, do you see now? Do you finally see what we see? That the system can't fix this. The system caused this. The system has been captured by the fossil fuel industry so thoroughly that we don't even see it anymore. Let's not forget that we live in a petrostate ourselves. Australia is the second biggest exporter of fossil fuels in the world after Russia. That's not per capita, that's in the world. We talk about punching above our weight as a country. Well, we're bloody well punching above our weight in that regard, aren't we? Shame, shame, shame. So, the system is captured. The government is captured. They don't want us to talk about it. They're trying to shut down Rising Tide, and they are actively enabling it by giving $14 billion of your taxpayer money to the fossil fuel industry every year. Speaking as a doctor, that's $14 billion that is my money, and that is your money, and that should be going on our children's health. It should be going on hospitals, education. It should be going on accommodation for essential key workers, and instead it's going out of our pockets and into the hands of the industry that is killing us. So, I call upon you, don't just get angry, get organised. Actively resist the fossil fuel industry and the corrupt system that has enabled it for the health of all of our children. Thank you very much.
It's Australia, and I'm here to talk to you about, let me see, degrowth. In essence, degrowth is quite simple. It means us degrowthers, we don't want the economy to grow, we want it to shrink. And the simplest way to shrink the economy is to stop buying things that you don't need. Here in Australia, 40% of our household budget is spent on discretionary items. That is, things that we don't need. You could call it useless crap. And so, how do we stop spending our money, wasting our money on things that we don't need? Well, we have to do things ourselves and make things ourselves rather than paying money for them. Like riding your bicycle instead of buying petrol for your car. That's degrowth. Like growing your own vegetables and cooking your own dinner rather than eating out. That's degrowth. Like growing your own pot and sharing it with your friends rather than buying it from the drug dealer. That's degrowth. Okay, next chapter. Gotta find my place here. Now, then we get to the next level where we are all get together and do things for each other that usually cost us money. Then we don't have to work for money to buy these things. And then the economy begins to shrink even more. Eventually, the entire community is linked up and working together for the common good. And the capitalist system withers away. Quite simple, really. A walk in the park. Now, economic growth is the reason we cannot possibly achieve our emissions targets. The economy is growing way faster than we can build renewable energy. We just can't keep up. All the growth in the economy is caused by discretionary spending. Buying stuff, buying stuff that we don't need, like European vacations and twin cab utes. Governments around the globe strive to increase economic growth, knowing full well that it is ruining the planet. They do this because they know voters will desert them if the economy stops growing. Here in the rich world, we have come to expect our material wealth to increase throughout our lives. It is more important to us than anything else on Earth, including the Earth itself. Almost every single day we buy something completely unnecessary at the expense of the climate. This behaviour will not change voluntarily. Protesting alone will not shift the dial, no matter how loud we scream in anger and frustration. But things will change when the economy slumps. The slide has already begun. Every disaster and calamity costs a shitload of money to clean up. Soon there will be no money left over to grow the economy. Then people will lose their jobs and the roof over their heads. Then they will be unable to spend 40% of their income on discretionary items. Then at last our emissions will begin to slump as well, and the earth will breathe a sigh of relief. The economy going pear-shaped will force us all to rearrange our lives. What we are looking at here is a paradigm shift from a money-based society to a time-based society. We will not have any money, but we will have an abundant wealth of time, especially all that time we now spend earning money, accumulating money, counting money, stealing money, and guarding money. So what will this new society look like? Who can say? But I imagine a community where everyone chips in together to fulfill our basic needs, like eradicating fossil fuels from the face of the earth, building resilience against climate volatility, and looking after each other's pressing needs, especially the most vulnerable. Now, if we start our week on Monday morning, we should have that pretty well sorted by Wednesday afternoon. The rest of the week we can devote to hedonism, creativity, bushwalking, or doing nothing at all. There will be no place for money in the new society. Everyone will be free to pursue their passions without recompense. If you love hairdressing, for instance, as many people do, I'm sure you will be inundated with people who want their hair cut, but you will have to do it out of the goodness of your heart, or exchange your expertise for something other than cold, hard cash. If your passion requires resources, you may have to compete with others for what is left over once our basic needs have been met. But bear in mind that all the resources will be shared equally with everyone else on Earth. So if I were you, I would choose a passion like playing the violin, a passion that requires no resources at all. You inherit your violin from an aging parent, then in your dotage, after a lifetime of joy playing your beloved instrument, you gift it to your precocious child.
Following on from that, back to the climate crisis in its immediate form. There's a few things that really are driving the climate crisis. One of them is obviously carbon dioxide pollution. Another one is land clearing and deforestation. And land clearing happens across the whole world. It happens for a range of reasons. It's not just native forests, it's all sorts of forests. And it's imperialism as well. And what happens with imperialism when countries go and seek resources and colonize islands and other nations and destroy their land for it? They displace people, they displace homes, they displace culture. And that has another effect on the struggles that people experience with the climate crisis. The land isn't able to regenerate and the people don't have that land that they once had. Our next speaker, Doro, is an activist campaigner with the forest. She's with BBF. And thank you for being here.
Thank you all for being here today. Thank you. My name is Doro and I'm with the Bob Brown Foundation. I'm the New South Wales campaigner, trying our best to save these forests here in our state. Thank you so much again for coming. Thank you for showing up, because this is the only thing that will actually make a difference. And in my speech you will hear what else will make a difference, and I urge you to listen and to do it starting Monday. So I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and I recognize their ongoing connection to this land, its waters and its skies. This is, was and always will be Aboriginal land. So So we're here again because we understand that the climate crisis is upon us. The stakes are very high and time is very short. As COP29 unfolds, once again we see the powerful, the fossil fuel industry and the well-protected gather to discuss our future year after year. And what do we see? Empty promises going on, hollow targets and delays. After nearly 3 decades of empty talks, emissions continue to rise and the heat is turning up. Every month is the hottest ever, breaking record after record. We are running out of words to describe the many catastrophic scenarios playing out across the world. Just remember our bushfires, and in Spain this year the floods. Hundreds of people drowned. And fatally, forests, our greatest natural allies in the fight against climate change, are still being cut down at an alarming rate across the globe. And these aren't just failures of policy. They are failures of responsibility, accountability, and morality. We know forests are the lungs of our planet. We know their magic of absorbing carbon, regulating our climate, housing wildlife, and generating water and cleaning our air. But let's be clear, despite countless empty statements from the past COP meetings, the global deforestation crisis has only worsened. Vague commitments to end deforestation by 2030 are nothing when forests are still being felled at alarming rates. We are watching our old-growth forests falling and vast areas of our rainforests burn. And they are never meant to burn. That's why they are rainforests and they are burning. They're burning in the Amazon and they're burning here in our state and they're burning up north in those fires. And for the first time ever, we also see that this year the Amazon only was in drought and in extreme drought. The Amazon is reaching tipping point this year. It is time to turn things around. And the best things we can do to turn things around, I cannot stress this enough. I really thank you all for coming and turning up. And we need to increase the show-ups of these actions. And I want to show you, have a focus now on New South Wales. Let's look where we can influence directly outcomes by turning up and getting active, by contacting your elected representatives, the members of Parliament, and I'm talking in this case the New South Wales Parliament, and demanding them to do better. We have in Australia the highest deforestation rate in the developed world. Shame! We are a biodiversity loss hotspot. And we have the highest mammal extinction rate in the world. Shame on Australia! Why? Why is it? Because of inaction and incompetence of our governments to read science and act on it, because of vested interests, and because the public doesn't want to know. It is on us, those that are gathered here today, to change it. The MPs in Macquarie Street, just a block from here, need to hear from you. You need to bombard their phone lines and tell them to do the work that we're voted in for. Seriously, this is what you need to do. And I hear this every day. I'm speaking to Sue Higginson and she says, we need to jam their phone lines. They always say they never hear enough from the public. So I urge you, come Monday, make sure you phone your state MP's office and tell them to end native forest logging as the first step to turn this country around. And I want to further also let you know that a criminal organization is looking after our forests. You wouldn't trust a thief to look after your house while you are away, but this is exactly what is happening in our forests. Leaving all good reasons aside today, why native forest logging must end anyway, about the carbon storage and the cleaning of the water, etc., I really want to concentrate on the full workings of our government, in fact, the previous governments as well, keeping this industry alive with our money, our taxes. Here in New South Wales, a criminal corporation is tasked with looking after our forests, and it is called Forestry Corporation of New South Wales. Remember the name, they are the ones looking after our forests. Despite having been charged with numerous offences leading to 14 convictions, they are still continuing to destroy our forests with our money. This means we are financing a criminal organisation with managing very badly our forests. If this was a bikie gang, the government would have long outlawed them. I want to say this again, if this was a bikie gang, they would have been outlawed. And in fact, if this was any of us, they would have outlawed us, as they are trying currently. But in this case, it is actually the government. 14 criminal convictions of illegal conduct in our forests. No criminal charge has been laid on any individual working within the ranks of Forestry Corporation. None! And do you know who the shareholders of Forestry Corporations are? Do you know? Does anybody know? No. It is in kind of us, but it's the finance minister and the treasurer. And they are standing by in full support. I say, let's name and let's shame them. The treasurer, Daniel Muki. So this is the name you need to remember. You want to call him on Monday as well. And Finance Minister Courtney Hussos. And both are upper house members. Look them up and call them on Monday and tell them to shut the criminal Forestry Corporation down. This is a real and important action you can all take, and ask them also for a meeting. So please remember, you local MP and the Finance Minister and the Treasurer. Forestry Corporation cannot be trusted. Even the judges in the courts are saying they are repeat offenders who can't be trusted. Conviction after conviction, the public purse is paying for fines, for legal fees, for barristers, for solicitors. Over the last 5 years, they have raked a bill of $247 million in way of losses. Over all these years, not a single person has been charged. Not the CEO of Forestry, not the board of directors, not any of the loggers actually doing the illegal works. How does this translate into our community here? Instead, the public forests the public picks up the forest for Forestry Corporation, and we pay their bills. And if convicted, the public pays the fines. The public pays their wages, the public pays for the destruction. That is why this is a lawless space, and forestry gets away with it. No deterrence for them, and that's why they must be shut down as the first step to eliminate the forest logging. Thank you. Thank you. And I will shut up now, but just one line. You all know Premier Chris Minns whinges about the high costs of policing protesters to the tune of $5 million annually. You've heard it, they want to increase the fines for trespassing. Rising Tide's going to have an interesting time next weekend. I hope we all come and show up and be there, because this is participating. But I wonder how this $5 million of bills they're policing these events, stands up against the bill of $50 million annually for logging something that belongs to us and that we want as a majority protected. We can't afford democracy, but we afford corruption, complacency, and incompetence. Thank you very much.
Absolutely disgusting. These forests are so complex and they take so long to grow, and we're just never going to get back what we chopped down today. So it's always worth saving. So thank you very much, Doro, for bringing that up. Mary, welcome. An environmental campaigner. Mary's a passionate activist, a local grassroots campaigner, and yeah, very stoked to have you speak today.
My name is Mary, and I want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we are gathering upon today, the Gadigal and Bitchakul people. Climate change and extreme weather events are making people's lives much more challenging, especially those living with disability. As a person living with cerebral palsy, the tasks of everyday life can be difficult. With climate change and severe weather events worsening, the difficulties of daily living will become even harder for people living with a disability. People with disability are less able to cope in extreme weather conditions. For example, even the task of walking through a flooded street to get help or supplies is not possible with someone dealing with a mobility issue. A disability charity has stated that up to 20% of those vulnerable to climate change have a disability. People with disability are dying disproportionately after severe weather events like heat waves and cyclones in all countries. During a flood in Germany earlier this year, 13 intellectually disabled people living in a home died as a result of the flood. The science is clear. We are headed towards ecological disaster. Governments must act urgently so we can stop extreme weather events and the endless suffering they will cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. All right. Cool. Couple more speakers. Please welcome Liz from Rising Tide. Rising Tide organiser, and maybe tell us about yourself.
I'd like to also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that meeting under there and acknowledge that the land was never ceded. I'd like to be inviting you to a bigger and better Rising Tide blockade than we had last year, very straightforwardly and with much increased numbers, which we've already got. But I have to say that we're now facing an unacceptable overreach by the Min's government, which is absolutely throwing the book at democratic right to protest in this country, or particularly in New South Wales. And we're facing a really serious situation here in New South Wales, which is matched by many other places in the globe, where fossil fuel companies are getting really rattled by us. That's the only bit of good news, that we are being heard and that the fossil fuel companies are getting rattled. The difficulties they're putting up for us are not things that we're going to be laying down and complying with. We need to be up there challenging our right to democracy, our right to rightful protest. So what's just happened, for those of you who don't know, 2 weeks ago the police took Rising Tide to the Supreme Court in order to challenge our right to have a Form 1, which would give us protection for our right for, exactly, horse shit. This was argued out in the Supreme Court over several days, and the police were throwing every single thing they could think at it. And people have already raised issues of things like the economic comparison between what it costs for a couple of days disruption in the port compared to the billions of dollars that are already being incurred in climate change, climate losses, let alone the future and the future costs that are going to be. So there's not an economic argument. There's also the question, the police were trying to raise the issue of safety, but Rising Tide met with the mayor of Newcastle during the week and agreed to certain conditions, and the police appeared to be quite happy with that and were going to let us be around and on the beach and in the water. However, last week the Chris Minns, a couple of days ago is a big development, but a little bit before that, Chris Minns has also extended the infrastructure, the penalties on challenging any kind of infrastructure by increasing it to include rail. And as we know, those are very, very severe penalties. So there's a $22,000 fine or possible up to 2 years in prison for interfering with infrastructure. Then on Thursday this week, Transport for New South Wales has now declared an exclusion zone all around the Newcastle port. This is huge. This is it's preventing anybody from entering the waters unless they have a commercial reason and have been approved from Thursday this week till Monday next week. This extends all the way up the Hunter Valley, up the Hunter River, and all the way to the mouth of the river, and a huge balloon all around the mouth of the river. And it's saying that if anybody goes into the water more than a metre, they'll be liable for an $1,100 fine, prosecution under the Marine Services Act. So this is a really big overreach, a really panicked overreach by the New South Wales government. there's only one way that we can address this kind of unacceptable restriction to our rights to protest, and it's to show that we're not going to be intimidated. To be up there in ever bigger numbers. Bring all your friends. If you were thinking, will I go, won't I go, make the decision to come. If you were thinking, will I go for a day, go for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. If you were thinking that this is just a protest for a few days, it's not. This is something that we're building a movement that we need to be fighting all the way through next year, the year after that, because what's ranged against us is so huge. Even though I know about these things, I was still shocked to read that there were 1,700 fossil fuel lobbyists at the COP. What the hell are they doing at the COP? Fossil fuel lobbyists. It's about climate change. So our power is a power of ourselves as people, and I think it's really clear that the government is getting very worried about the power and the impact that we can have, which we saw last year, because Rising Tide got fantastic media coverage and very good international media coverage. And you'd have to hope that being shamed on an international stage is going to be even more important. So I just call on you all to make your way up to Newcastle, recruit your friends, get as many people up there as you can, because we really need to show that we've got a very strong movement. We're not going to be lying down. We're going to be protesting harder than ever. And as many people have pointed out, they say, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then we win.
So great to hear, so glad to know that Rising Tide is still going ahead. Our right to protest is constantly being infringed on, and the way that we exercise and keep that right is by protesting. Our last speaker for today is Aana. Aana is an activist and an environmental warrior. They are a Meanjin-based organiser, and very excited to have them down here for Cop Out this year. Welcome.
I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are gathered on, the Gadigal people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I pay tribute to the ongoing Aboriginal fight for land rights against extractive mining projects. This land was stolen, invaded by the British Empire 236 years ago, and the violent occupation is ongoing. I extend this respect and solidarity to all Indigenous communities fighting for liberation. The nation-state of Australia is not only responsible for the massacre of Indigenous people on this continent, but across the world. From West Papua to Palestine to Sudan to Kanaki, Australia is complicit in genocide. My name is Aana. My family in the south, in the crevices of Bengal, very soon to be climate refugees, know it as Ohana. I find myself more tongue-tied with every speech. The words no longer fill me with vigor because they are the echoes of all the stories I've heard, or the pleas for help, or the reasons that won't let me sleep at night. I turned 18 1 month ago, and it feels like the only thing that has changed is they can put me in an adult prison now, and that I can call myself a number that massacred children cannot. A number many-fold smaller than the dead animals in the Woolworths bins, or the empty homes that won't fit the unhoused people. 18 is a reminder that the clock is ticking and the sun is getting hotter in the ways that sink and burn the land that is not ours to destroy. My mother immigrated here for the promise of security and freedom, the so-called Western dream. I tell her that I am scared, that they put our journalists in prison and tell us our safety is the cost of dissent. I tell her that under our system, justice is retributive, not rehabilitative, that resistance means subjection to a colony that fosters the business of weapons and incarceration. I tell her the death toll of war and prisons has only ever been, and only ever will be, a statistic as long as investors make a profit. Try it! Try smother our voices in the name of corporate interest, because collective liberation is only human. It is only human to want to fight back. You can put the fighter in the prison, but not the fight. Survival is community-led and people-powered. It means showing up, leveraging real political power that lies in a culture of direct action. Mass starvation and water wars cannot be the new normal. We must dream big so our kids can dream bigger. Struggle together knowing what's at stake. No nation states, no borders. We will not forget those on the inside. We will not forget the martyrs. We will not forget those that came before us. We will not forget that this land is stolen. Escalation is non-negotiable. Shut it down is not a metaphor.
Thank you. To quote a dear friend of mine who would have been here today. She's an inspiration to where we are today and this project. She's not here with us anymore, but she was a passionate activist and has taught me a lot about where we are today. And I found this quote last night and I thought maybe it's fitting, so I'm just going to say it. Her name was Zoe. Australia's participation in global summits like COP are a distraction, making it seem like we are participating or playing the game or taking this seriously, when in actuality, no policy can hold one of the most brutal empires in all of history to account. Alright, so yeah, now maybe I'd like everyone to get up and kind of just get in their body and shake around a bit, see how they're feeling. It's really important to take action as well, and that's a big part of being political and having your voice heard. Being political means putting yourself in a space, being aware of where you are in that space, moving with consciousness, with intent, and using your body to hold space. And holding space is something that is really important and is how we can claim back space and get power. So we're going to go for a walk. We're going to walk to Hyde Park and we're going to walk as a group. We're going to look around each other. We're going to be aware of how far the gaps are between people. We're going to hold our chit-chats till we get to Hyde Park. We're going to go for an intentional walk, a serious protest together. So if you see gaps around you, move into that space, fill it up, try and stay as one group. And we're going to be safe, and we're going to walk to Hyde Park. So that's that.
I don't think this is supposed to be happening, but the cops are just dealing with it. There's hardly any here.
What are you doing here, you weird
Hey!
What are you doing here, you weird cunt? Why are you a perv on the door? You know about you, Jesus, you perv?
The guy with the little cat suit on calls me a perv. Yeah, the cops aren't going to have much chance, I don't think. As far as I can see, there's 4 of them. Yeah, he's telling them to get on the footpath, but it's not happening. away from me. Don't harass me.
You little creep. You little creep. You come home. Just leave us alone.
What are you doing?
You're a creep.
Will you leave?
What do you want to do?
Do not touch me again.
Get a life. I didn't touch you.
You just did.
Get a life.
Go away from me, please.
Is your life not interesting enough? You have to be a creep.
Can you please go away from me?
Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Don't do that to him.
I know.
He's just doing his job. He's not having fun.
Thank you so much.
Changing, you're really peaceful.
Unfortunately, all the group is fine, but 2 people. So thanks. I appreciate you stepping in. Good on you. Good on you. So the cops are trying to work out what's happening, but they don't seem to be able to. It looks like they're stopped facing this way for a little while as well. Now they're off again. And the cars are banked up, just kind of creeping along with them for now, all the way down the street. And there's no extra police have turned up yet, I don't think. There's still only 4, maybe 5. have just arrived, and there's a police car trying to get through, but yeah, everyone that was stuck in the traffic jam's turning off now to go in a different way. And here comes the police van. I'd say they've come up from Day Street and they weren't able to get here because it's So I think that's the end of it actually. They're going to walk, unless they stop in the middle of the intersection here, which is they probably will do by the look of it. Then otherwise they're walking into Hyde Park. Wants them off the road, but no one's going to get off until they're ready. He calls me a perv with what he's wearing. A few more police arriving now as well, and I'm not sure about. Oh, no, she's not filming me; she's filming them. And these two are doing a slow walk to keep the police at bay, I assume. Doesn't look like anyone's going to leave the intersection very soon. Another police bike arriving now, and another police car from a different direction. So I'd say the cops, what's that, we're 12 minutes in now. Not sure what they're going to do. Just going to chat to the boss. No, I can't hear what they're saying, but they're getting these ladies back out to the street again, I think. Don't seem to be doing anything as yet. He's just got his bike there, blocking off that. Oh, here comes some more getting their vests on. But otherwise, it's just a gathering at the intersection here. It's a stalemate. Yeah, they've had enough. She's not impressed with them. The cops will have to step in soon, I'd say. I don't know, maybe. Maybe they're waiting for more reinforcements, but oh, here comes some more cops are turning up now. So maybe the police are just waiting on getting the numbers they need before anything happens. You got another 1, 2, 3, 4 arriving. Oh, and the guy is in his car, not impressed. Quite unimpressed. Oh, a few are doing U's and getting out of here. Oh, here comes another big contingent of cops now. So I think the protesters are, they're getting intimidated by this new arrival of groups. So the organisers, I think, are getting them to start moving. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, these guys look like it's serious now. So I think this will be. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh no, they're just blocking the road. Oh, they're going to do maybe a march, like a march to get them to move everyone. It looks like it.
You know that cops not dropping!
Too many coppers! Too many coppers!
I think that was it. They were just waiting on the numbers to do that little march. There was minimal, if any, resistance. Pretty much none. None I saw. So yeah. That's it. That's pretty much over, I'd say.
democratic process is actually incredibly difficult, as we can see, and that's why we're in this position. But yeah, if you want to learn more about, how the actual state of Australia functions, come along to that. And then at 6 p.m. we have an open mic for grassroots groups. So that'll be, lots of different local groups. If you've got a group, you're doing something this is happening at Addison Road. And then tomorrow, again at Addison Road at 9 AM, we're going to be doing a workshop on writing letters to political prisoners. Like right now, we know there's a bunch of our friends over in England who have been, sentenced to 5 years in prison for organising protests like we're at right now. And yeah, this shift is happening globally, and it's one way to kind of connect and recognise those people's hard work. Then at 11 AM, we're going to have a panel, and it's discussing acting on the climate. Stop hitting our friends! Stop hitting our friends! Let them do their job.
I didn't even touch anyone! I didn't even touch anyone! Release me! What is this for?
Yeah, you're fine. It's got zoom capabilities. Just stand back where you are.
We should take the road again if they're going to arrest them. Let us go. You get back.
Release me now.
Let them go. 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 You bullying bastards! Everybody! Stop hurting them! Stop hurting them! Go away, you cooker!
All of you! Fucking pathetic!
Watch this.
Let them go! Let them go! Let them go!
We're gonna have to find that out.
Did he change it any for the car? Oh, sorry. Shame on all of you!
As horrible as it is to watch our friends get brutalised by the police, and as full-on as mischievous as that is, and I hope that there are some people leaving service and friends staying with that person, maybe if others can bring their attention back together. We just managed to watch that collective defiance of this system of oppression, and it is, horrible to watch that, targeted violence come out at the end. And we're rightly outraged at seeing that, but let's try and keep our attention together and remember that we're here because we're in a global crisis, and that there are systems, multitudes of systems that are working together to uphold the exploitation of people and the violent removal of people from land and the repression of protest when it happens, and that to act against that we're going to have to be acting together, we're going to have to be paying attention to each other, we're going to have to be trying to look out for each other. So thank you everybody for coming here to do that, and yeah, I hope we can try and keep each other
able to safely engage and make sure your friends and the people around you are okay. And
oh, good.
Oh, sorry.
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? When do we want it? Now!
Alright, well that looks like it's a wrap now. They're going to go back up into the park and have some more speeches. The police have swollen from 4 in the beginning to whatever there is now. There's been an arrest, I don't know why. And yeah, I think they want to stand a little bit longer with their signs, and then they're going to, and then this guy with his cat mask on is just constantly, he ruins it for the whole movement, him and this other girl, because they ruin it for everyone else because of the carry on that they go on with. It could be just a normal protest getting filmed, but he has to, keep his mouth open and running it the whole time. Yeah, he's just a, whatever he is, I don't know. But it's the way he is. And the other little girl that just goes crazy and she just, calls me a cooker, and then she, bloody touches me and touches my phone. But anyway, that's all that aside.
I just wanted to say that was incredible seeing them for the first time. I come from New Zealand, and
They make for a very good video, these ladies, anyway. So I think they're coming up here now to do some more speeches, or just to chit chat, I think. So I think I've had enough. I'm going to head off home. There's a bubbler, have a drink, and I'm out of here.